Okay, good afternoon. I have to say I'm impressed by the timeliness. We're late by a few minutes, but I'm sure we'll make up for that. So let me introduce myself. My name is Ms. Siglenda Somses. I'm from the Namibia Meteorological Service, and I will be taking you through the program today. The purpose we're here is the handing and taking over of meteorological equipment that was procured through various memorandi of understanding and through various entities, which leads to the Met Service then acquiring 4 meteorological stations, right? So we're here to officially receive those equipment from the MTC. So the 3 entities that work together is MTC, obviously. It's the IREMA Kunene project under the Environmental Investment Fund, IREMA Kunene project, and then the Ministry of Works and Transport. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I observe all protocol and everybody here. On behalf of the CEO, Ms. Pauline, feel welcome. On behalf of our ED, Madam Joyce, welcome. My Deputy Director, Mr. Ngoirap, welcome. And Mr. Tim Makanjo, thank you for coming. So without further ado, can we just rise for the national anthem and the AU anthem?
We
Thank you very much. I would like to call upon Mr. Frans Oorap, the Deputy Director of the Namibia Meteorological Service and the PR of Namibia with the World Meteorological Organization to give us the welcoming remarks.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think Ms. Thomas, in a way, welcomed everyone. So, first of all, let me start with my official speech, the welcoming speech that was written for me. But unfortunately, due to technology, I'll try my best to remember the speech from the head. So, first of all, let me take the opportunity to welcome Ms. Joyce Mukupi, the Acting Executive Director of the Ministry of Works and Transport. I have to say this. I had an opportunity to work with her these couple of weeks very, very closely. And I can see someone that is determined, that is focused, that is result-driven. Please keep it up, and I wish the best for you. Mr. Tim Kanyo, I do read in the newspaper the name, the first time that we see each other face to face. But what you are doing for the Namibian people is admirable. It is not only in meteorology that you now start to support, but you have been supporting our national football for many, many, many years. For that, we really thank you out of our heart. Please continue to excel the way you do. Yes, and then Mr. Benedict Libanda, the Chief Executive Officer of EIF. EIF stands for Environment Investment Fund. The first day when we came here in this boardroom, then I thought I never expected I will reach this status. When I came today inside this boardroom, it's the first time that the environment, the atmosphere of the boardroom is different than what I usually know it. The people that have prepared it have done an excellent job. You have transformed this place into the atmosphere, into the climate that is conducive for cooperation. Last but not least, the media. Some of us knows the Namibian newspaper for many, many years. If we do hear Namibian, then the name Queen Lista automatically comes up. We believe in the news media, not only the Namibian paper, but each and every other newspapers, the media that is here. In a way, the media plays a critical role to make things correct. But like our president, Dr. Hage Geingob says, Dr. Hage Geingob. Other people say Godfrey, but some of us only know Hage. Apologies for that. Says there are systems, there are processes, there are procedures. If the media, the government, and us work together, at the end of the day, we will get results that can propel this country also to the level of the developed countries. And sometimes you can even overtake them. So the staff members did play a very critical role. I think it's a welcoming speech, but let me also use both opportunities. Siglinde, you have done a great job for this workshop to take place today, and I'm very, very much happy. And also not you, also the others that have been behind this, I'm very grateful for that. So please, this is Namibia, this is our boardroom, each and every one. Please feel welcome. And I wish the best for all of us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Oorap. Indeed, when we work together, we can achieve a whole lot for our country. So next on our program, I welcome Mr. Tim Mekanjo. He's the Chief Human Capital, Corporate Affairs, Marketing, and Human Resources Manager at the MTC. Man of many hats.
Thank you very much, Director of Ceremonies, and of course the I always forget when I come to a boardroom. I always think I'm at MTC. So thank you very much for hosting us. We are totally appreciative. When I think about the Met services, many, many years ago, we used to get the NBC feed a week later in Lutherans. Some of you will not understand how that feels. So meaning, if it's Tuesday here, we would get last week Tuesday's news. And I think they used to send the tapes by courier. So when we look at after the news and we want to look at how the weather is going to be tomorrow, because sometimes we forget also that nobody also told us that it's a week late. So when the weather forecast says tomorrow is going to be windy, tomorrow is sunny, and we could never understand until we started complaining, and everybody in Lutheran said, we don't believe this weather forecast anymore. And then somebody came to say, no, you guys are getting things a week later. So yeah, quite a few years back. A couple of months ago, we handed over vision restoration equipment to the, what is the department? Ophthalmology. That word always defeats me. Very, very expensive equipment to get people's sight back. And when I look at the equipment here, almost the same. The smaller it becomes, the more expensive it is. But we are certainly very, very thankful for our partners. Today we are able to hand over this early warning system equipment that will go to will be deployed in the Kunene region. We all know that we cannot survive without our environment, and that's why ESG is such an important factor at MTC. And it can't just be at MTC, because if we collectively all decide to take ESG and environmental factors seriously, then we are going to make a much bigger impact. The environment is very, very important, and we cannot overemphasize that. It is important that we leave the environment in a better state in which we found it for future generations as well. And that's why MTC invested in the Seed Bank project, which is also outside of Windhoek. And all these efforts are geared towards making sure that while you're doing business, be mindful that you have an environment that you found in a better state and that you must live in a better state. So we are very, very thankful and appreciative to all our partners that we are able to deploy technology to help the farmers and everybody out there. We know that Namibia has been hard hit by drought. We've been hard hit by a lot of things over the past years. It is important that we place technology in the center of these things so that we are able to help our people. And this is really what we are trying to do with this early warning system. When we started this project, I've always asked Nancy, what are these equipment going to do? If there is a drought coming in the next 5 months, will these systems tell our farmers and Namibians that there is a drought coming in the next 5 months? So I'm also very, very eager, even though we've invested, to see the actual results, because that's really where the impact is. And I'm really hoping that this equipment live by its name, which is early warning, and not after the fact, not like a rainbow, after it has rained already. So thank you very, very much to EIF and all the other partners, and we're really looking forward to implementing this, not just in the Kunene region, but using that as a trial in terms of doing it to all the other regions as well. Thank you very much, Director Service.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ikanjo, for your brief remarks. Next up on our program, I would like to call upon Ms. Pauline Mugore, the CFO of EIF, on behalf of Mr. Benedict Libanda, to give her remarks.
Directors of ceremony, Ms. Joyce Mukumbu, Acting Executive Director, Ministry of Works and Transport. Mr. Franz Urebe, Director of Namibia Meteorological Services. Mr. Tim Ekanjo, Chief Human Capital and Corporate Affairs Officer, Project Management Unit of the IREMA project, staff members of the Ministry of Works and Transport and Namibia Meteorological Services, staff members of MTC, staff members of EIF, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Pauline Mugore, and I'll be representing the CEO, Mr. Libanda. I'm honored and delighted to be here with you today to mark the handover of the 4 automated weather stations that have been procured by the Environmental Investment Fund in partnership with MTC at a total cost of 800,000 Namibian dollars. These weather stations will be installed at the IREMA project sites in Wamkale, Kamanyape, and Emra in the Kunene region. The Fransfontein site has already been installed in November 2022, and the meteorological services have been including data from the sites in their daily weather bulletin. The Ministry of Works and Transport, specifically the Meteorological Services of Namibia, will be the custodian of these highly technical automated weather stations and play a pivotal role in their management. The official handover of these automated weather stations reinforces Namibia's unwavering commitment to implementing early warning systems as crucial means of alerting our communities to climate change and enabling them to respond effectively. Early warning information empowers communities to take timely action in the face of potential disasters such as droughts and floods. It serves as a safety net, allowing communities to proactively plan for disasters, thereby saving lives, preserving jobs, protecting ecosystems, and safeguarding critical infrastructure. I'm equally pleased to share with you that to this end that the fund through the IREMA project, which is the implementing partner in conjunction with the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, has finalized the consultancy work that developed an early warning system tailored for Kunene region that came up to 950,000 Namibian dollars. The IREMA project was initiated as a response to persistent droughts and dry spells that have plagued the Kunene region. The recurrent drought events have had devastating effects on the region's primary source of livelihood, which is livestock farming. Moreover, the community's reliance on natural-based livelihoods makes them highly vulnerable to climate change, impacting not only their income, but their food security. To mitigate this risk, the development of an early warning system is crucial. The early warning system will utilize an integrated communication system to help communities prepare for hazardous climate-related events. It will consist of 4 key components, which is the hazard detection, monitoring, and forecasting, the analysis of risk and incorporation of risk information in emergency planning and warning, timely and authoritative dissemination of warnings, and community planning and precedents. These components will work together to alert communities at risk of imminent disasters, enabling them to take proactive actions to minimize the impacts. The implementation of an early warning system through the installation of an automated weather station in the Kunene region is in alignment with the Namibia's comprehensive efforts as outlined in the National Disaster Risk Management Policy of 2009, the Risk Management Act number 10 of 2012, the the Disaster Risk Management Regulation of Namibia and the National Strategy for Managing Disaster Risk Reduction and Climate Change Adaptation. This integration of the early warning system into existing policies and strategies underscores the government's commitment to effectively manage and reduce disaster risk, enhance climate resilience, and safeguard the well-being of vulnerable communities in Namibia. It is worth noting that a successful early warning system saves lives, jobs, ecosystems, and infrastructures, and supports long-term sustainability. In fact, early warning systems can also assist in planning, saving money in the long run, and protecting economies. Thus, early warning system supports people's livelihoods in a dignified way. Despite the progress made, we still need to mobilize more resources and prioritize investment in adoption and early warning action. The system will not only help decision makers in making informed decisions, but lead to increased availability and access to early warning information as stipulated in the SANDI framework on sustainability, increasing the availability of and access to multi-hazard early warning systems and disaster risk information and assessment to people by 2030. Howard Schultz once said, success is best when it is shared. Let me take this opportunity to thank our project partners who equally share in the success of this event: the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, the Ministry of Works and Transport, the Division of Meteorological Service of Namibia, and MTC Company for heeding the call that we need collective efforts as we build Namibia's climate resilience, build collaborative climate information services, and invite more partners to join the Alliance for Collective Action on Adoption. As I conclude, I wish to reiterate that the sustainability of this project is dependent on the inputs from the stakeholders that directly interface with hazards, as well as continued financial and technical support from the project partners to ensure mitigation of the adverse effects accumulating from climate shocks through timely dissemination of accurate climate information to our communities. I thank you all for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Madam Mugore, for your remarks. Indeed, climate change is a topic that we cannot ignore. It gladdens me that at least Namibia has come on board, and we are now actively, through different entities and different sectors in the country, taking action to build resilience against climate change. So without further ado, let me call upon Ms. Joyce Mukubi, the Acting Executive Director of the Ministry of Works and Transport. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I think I'm the most excited person in this room today. And I hope that we're not going to hear the remarks that I had that the weather report is a week old. I just have a short speech. I'm sure everybody has heard the colleagues have said everything. As the excited person, you know, when a child is excited, the child just smiles and rejoices and doesn't say much. So I'm prepared to do that. MTC executives and staff members, Environmental Investment Fund executives and representatives, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon once again. It is an honor for me to address you at this one of the milestones of the Arema Kunene project since the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Ministry of Works and Transport and the Environmental Investment Fund. Indeed, as it has been said before by my previous speakers, We have a shared responsibility to see the successful implementation of this project through the collaborative efforts of key stakeholders such as MTC. At this point, allow me, in short, to share the main aim of the Irema Kunene project, which is to reduce the vulnerability of small stock farmers under the challenging conditions of climate change in the areas of Sesfontein, Fransfontein, and the Kamanyab in the Kunene region. This can be done through the development of maintenance and implementation of the early warning system, component of the Irema Kunene project. In order for us to achieve the development of the early warning system, there is a need for the MET equipment in the project area so that it can enable us to provide weather and climate information. And I want to underline that well in advance and not at a later stage. So as the acting head of the ministry, I want to promise you that we are going to try our level best to see that the information that we provide is up to date and not ex post facto information. We are here today to receive the equipment that was generously procured by MTC together with the Environmental Investment Fund that is donated to us. As a ministry and the government, we are very happy because I always say together we can make it. And we cannot just depend on government alone to ensure that everything is done. As a happy child, I would like to thank MTC, the Environmental Investment Fund, and the team from the Ministry of Works and Transport for the hard work in ensuring that we have this equipment in front of us, and I will be very happy, and I promise you that we are going to make good use of it. I'm sure the team from the Met office are also as excited as I am. I'm going to call my minister tonight. He's out of the country, of town. I'm going to tell him that, don't worry. They won't tell you, Met services, the information is not correct. If tomorrow is going to rain, I'm sure when they report every night, we will report correct information. So with those few remarks, I want to thank you, and we are very happy as a ministry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Mukubi, for your very exciting speech. At this point, without wasting any more time, I'd just like to give a little bit more information that on the equipment that was bought. This is not all that was bought. MTC acquired 4 automatic weather stations plus 1 automatic rain station, right? So it's 5 stations altogether that are going to be disseminated within the project area. I am not only standing here as a staff member of the Met Service, but I'm also a steering committee member of the Irema project. So I'm also representing the steering committee as I'm standing here. And yeah, so I would like to ask my very hardworking colleagues from the Met Service, Mr. Ben Rabang, for the explanation of what exactly is an automatic weather station, so Mr. Tim can understand what's going to happen. We have 1 station already installed at Fransfontein, and it is working. So, Mr. Rabang.
The distance speaks, no turning back, there's only road ahead. I broke your heart.
Good afternoon. My name is Benjamin Rabang, and I'm actually responsible for the installation and maintenance of automatic weather stations. At this point in time, what I can say is the fact that we have installed already one station at Fransfontein, and basically, technology is busy challenging us, but I hope that my colleagues will get it right over there. So basically, we have a pole, almost a 10-meter pole, where we basically attach a lot of sensors. Now, these sensors are basically what we have just brought and displayed here. So we make use of solar power, and then we have various sensors, ranging from the wind sensor over here. I think I can talk louder. So then you also have, the soil thermometer. This is basically to take measurements of the temperatures at various levels. It goes up to, I think, 1 meter in the ground, which is very important for agriculture. Then we have our rain gauges. We have this that is attached to the station itself. And then we have the rain station, as we have said. That's basically our rain station over there. Now, how it operates is we do have an MTC SIM card that we insert in a modem, and we basically get our information, via GPRS or internet. So the station is up and running at Fransfontein, and that's what I really wanted to see whether we could not get information from it. But that's basically, what happens. The information has been captured from the station on a database, and as Met Services, we have access to that data, and we can do whatever that we need with that data. Do some forecasting, and also look at any other, any other climate-related, issue. Yeah, with that, I think we are still challenged here, so I'm not so sure whether we'll have maybe a minute or two. Yeah, that's basically how the station looks like. In most cases, what people are doing is when we ask for some space, they usually think that we need a whole huge space. But it's just basically one pole that is standing there, and we have some anchor wires, and then we basically attach like the solar panel over there and the wind sensor up there, and then these boxes, we basically put them up on the, on the pole. So that was basically in a nutshell. I don't know whether we'd want to look at that also. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Rabang, for that very short explanation. So there's still work to be done, because there are 4 other stations that still need to go to the region to be put up. So the work is not done. If the connection happens to come on within the next 5 to 10 minutes while we are still busy, we'll give you a demo of how the station is sending the information through to our office. So yeah, but at this point, I would just like to have a brief handshake from MTC to the Ministry of Works and Transport to receive these stations just in front of the instrument, so the media can also just have a picture. And I will also ask Madam Pauline to please join as the instruments are going there. Unfortunately, it's not a bat that can be handed over. Okay, while you guys are waiting, Mr. Urab would just like to say a few more things, so while the pictures are being taken.
No, that's not what I meant. I mean, these are historic event that needs to be recorded. And then I believe there are handshakes there. And really, this is something that we need to remember for the rest of our lives, how cooperation between two companies or three stakeholders can work perfectly. Thank you very much. I think, yes, it's 1 minute. I believe, I need to take the floor also to thank Arema and MTC, my new brother, Tem Ganjo, for the resources. But equally, Ms. Somses also introduced me as the permanent representative of Namibia. I have to clarify certain issues. What Mr. Ganjo was referring to is possibly even before my time, 1980s. And then when I came to the Met Service, that time we've been using telex machines, not even computers, telex to exchange information. What he said is the NBC feed. The NBC feed does not mean the Met Services information. So I think that is very important to clarify all these issues. On a serious note, there is lots of misconception outside there. In the olden days, when I was a forecaster together with Rian van Zyl, Casper Dupré, let their souls rest in peace, then those days we used synoptic charts in the brain. That was the only tools that we had. But at least the forecast was equally correct. Nowadays, I can tell you, the models, the satellite information, the models and the satellites has reached a stage that any information coming from the models are fairly accurate. The accuracy of the information that comes from the Met Services, please talk to us. We should know that we are on the media. These kind of issues can go way wide. It can go to any other country, it can go to Switzerland. Namibia is a member of WMO, and then we may be seen as something wrong. So please let us make statements. If we make it publicly, officially, or wherever we make statements, consult and ask. I even talked to my staff members. I asked them, I heard these issues. Is this information wrong? Then they said, no, it is correct. And I can assure the Namibians out there that the information coming from us is fairly accurate. The technology did advance too much. Even the satellites advanced. Nowadays, the satellites are talking about 1 meter. In the olden days, possibly 2 kilometers. So the satellites can basically pinpoint and say what is there. And the models did advance. So information that you get from the Met Services using the tools are fairly accurate. What we need in Namibia is radars to protect people's lives. So thank you very much. That's a clarification. So that people must not take my friend's words out of it.
Okay, so now on the screen you can see the display. If you have a look at the display, this is what the Fransfontein station is reporting, right? So Mr. Ben, please come up here and do your job.
I'm actually done. Okay, no, basically we are receiving information every second from the station. So basically you have all the parameters. You have starting from temperature. Where is my temperature? Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you. We have all our parameters here. We have basically the wind direction. This is wind speed over here. Then we have the wind direction on the other side, and then we have the wind speed. So basically, this is what we actually get on a daily basis. There are also temperatures, and I can see the temperatures the air temperature block has been cut off, but we are getting all that information from there. So, whenever it rains, we can confidently and, tell exactly how much it rains at Fransfontein, and obviously at all these other stations that will be installed in the near future. So, yeah, that's basically what it is.
Thank you very much. The station is up and running, so there is proof that work is being done, and it will continue, Madam Mukubi. We shall bear fruits, Mr. Ikanjo. Without further ado, allow me to introduce Mr. Brian Gaumap, the IREMA Interim Project Manager.
Good afternoon, everyone. You see, all parties come to an end, and we always say, let's take the last one for the road. So the last one that we are going to take for the road is more on a sober mind. It's not going to be the last one for the road where the traffic officers will stop us. But one of the last one for the road that we'll take is that maybe the first thing that I would like to say is that Tim is someone that I've grown up with. And it's someone that has stayed, though we said he stayed in Lutritz, he stayed 5 years in Gurene region. And imagine yourself, he comes from a place where there was no network. For you to reach your family, you need to wait for Friday. If you're lucky, you get on the truck, our bus, mainliner, and then that's the only time you might call from Umaruru, your family. And imagine yourself, a place where one newspaper is shared by 60 guys that stays in a hostel. So for a week, you read Namibian newspaper. If you're lucky, you take the sports edition because that was the main part that we were taking. So that's from where it comes in. I think, Tim, you have pulled it off again. What you did with Gunene as well as Sesfontein, Fransfontein, and those areas. You did not just Brent MTC. What you did is that Gunene is a tourism maker, and you just gave real-time information to tourists. So you already played a small part, which can play a bigger part within the tourism center. And one thing that you said is that this is a trial pilot phase. We are hopeful that other regions that encounter the climate change programs can also do the similar thing. So this was phase 1, and please see EIF as a partner to work within this endeavor. So secondly, in terms of the place that is accommodated Ministry of Works and Transport, usually when people see EIF, they see billions. This is one of the best venues that we had so far. Not low budget, but it's an impact. Because what we are doing this, as he said, the smaller it is, it's expensive. With us, the smaller it is, it's a bit cheaper, and it has got impact as well from EIF perspective. But in terms of the team that has pulled off Siklinde, EIF staff, people that have worked tirelessly around this, and also the team that had the first interventions when they started this process. I know it's difficult to pull off such a thing. It takes time. It takes memorandum of understanding. Some of us had to stretch our budgets and also knock on doors that we're not supposed to open. And from EIF perspective, we are quite grateful for what you guys have pulled off to pull up such a small crowd in such a small time. And I think, team, this is just the beginning with us, and we can emulate what we have done or replicate the same concept in other areas. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brian Gaumap, for your thanks. At this point, I'd just like to say, meteorology is a field that most of us didn't know when we were in high school. We didn't think it was an option. Up until this point, it is a field that is still very hard to get training in Namibia. But if there is cooperation between entities such as the EIF and the MTC and the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Works and Transport, who can sponsor younger people to then get their training into meteorology, in climate change, climate adaptation, resilience, and also move the country along with the times and technology, I think will be well equipped at the end of the day. So if you guys could just think about it. Thank you very much. So ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed, I think we have come to the end of our program. So I would just like us to rise for the AU anthem and the national anthem, after which there are some refreshments and some water available. Please help yourself at the tables before you leave. Thank you again for making the time to come to us and listen, or join us actually.